Hello, hello, everyone. This is Dawn Del Vecchio. It's been a long time since I've made a video, and I'm really excited and pleased that this particular video is our Welcome to 2024 video. I've been in a deep immersion. I've been doing some deep healing work, and quite honestly, a shift in the nature of my service in the world, which dovetails and coalesces so beautifully with what we're going to be sharing with you today. So on the call today, I have my dear sister priestess friend, Emmy Mutali. And Emmy and I are going to be talking about our November Egypt priestess pilgrimage and really deep transformational planetary work retreat we'll be doing. And Emmy has led retreats in Egypt. So this is why it'll be a little bit interview style, because I really want to bring forward and have her bring forward the potency, the word majesty is coming to mind, and the potential for this gathering for those who feel called. But let me tell you a little about Emmy if you don't know her, and I realize some of you already will, but I want to share with you her bio, and then we're going to go into a deep dive exploration of what you might expect on a priestess pilgrimage in Egypt. So Emmy Mutali is an intuitive healer, an energy medicine practitioner, and a shamanic womb priestess and teacher dedicated to reawakening ancient feminine wisdom. Trained in various healing modalities, Emmy creates sacred, safe, and non-judgmental spaces for deep transformation and facilitates the emergence of authentic connection, profound knowing, and inner power for women of all ages and all around the world. With the intention of raising the frequency of our planet, she does this work, and for fostering deep healing one womb at a time. Emmy also hosts the Sacred Feminine Power podcast. She's a 3-time best-selling author and runs the House of Gaia, which is a suburban sanctuary for healing in Lusaka, Zambia, and she is a health freedom advocate. Now, I'm honored today to welcome Emmy, who has invited me to come into this retreat and support and facilitate some of the ceremonies and grid work that we'll be doing. So Emmy, welcome, and thank you so much for doing this little interview conversation with me today.
Thank you, Dawn. It's such a blessing to be here with you today and just love sharing space and time with you. Thank you.
Yeah. So my first question for you is really, I'm sure it's going to be interesting for anyone who's either been to Egypt already or has not been to Egypt, but it's really a personal question that I want answered, because while I know what my abilities are, I've never been to Egypt. So I really want to know what makes you so excited about this particular priestess retreat.
Absolutely. Well, the ancient lands of Egypt are incredibly activating in and of themselves. And to be able to journey into these lands at a time like this on our planet, when we are in the midst of such massive, immense change and transformation, both in terms of the path and the journey and the future of humanity, but also our planet. Mother Earth herself is on her own ascension journey as well. And to be able to root into these kinds of energies in a place like Egypt will be very, very powerful. And I just got goosebumps just saying that. And for me, the fact that we can gather as a group of women who are already on a path of healing and transformation, who are already committed and dedicated to serving the mother, to serving the goddess, to serving the future of humanity. And to gather in a place like Egypt will be incredibly, again, powerful. And what I am looking forward to personally the most is being able to be in the energy of these sacred sites, temples, pyramids, the waters of the Nile, and really tune into the energy of each place and start to receive unique, individual, but also collective downloads about the wisdom and about the magic of each one of these places.
Yes, yeah. Um, speaking of the waters, I wanted to touch on a couple of things here before we go into some of the experiences you've already had in Egypt. So we have planned for this pilgrimage 3 private viewings and a 3-day boat tour on the Nile. And as you know personally, Emmy, I have been in a deep water communion here in Southeast Asia and really immersing literally my physical body and my energy body every day in the waters. And so I know that even though that's not like the official, like officially a private viewing, that to me feels like really like the ribbon, the thread that ties it all together. So would you speak a little bit about the experience of being on the Nile itself, that energy, that code set, if you will, and these the private viewings that will, or not even viewing, they're private space for us to be in ceremony. Yeah,
Yes.
share with us a little about this.
Yeah, well, the Nile is such a potent, such a magical river. And being able to immerse ourselves in the waters of the Nile is a very sacred, very special experience. And we will get a chance to do ceremony on the banks of the Nile. We'll get a chance to go into the Nile as long as people are comfortable in terms of going into slightly colder waters in November in Egypt. And just being on the boat itself is a beautiful experience because you are on the waters, you are looking at the Nile, you are connecting deeply with the small waves, you're connecting deeply with the energy, you're connecting deeply with the sunlight shining onto the surface of the water, and just going within, being still and allowing the energy and the messages of the Nile to come through is very, very beautiful. And we will have plenty of time for connecting with the waters, both as individuals again, and also as a group. So it's going to be a beautiful experience in terms of giving and receiving with the waters, with the Nile, and allowing that connection through the Nile to the rest of the waters on our planet as well, because it is really an opportunity to bring through healing to the waters that are going through a huge amount of stuff at the moment with all the pollution, all the toxins that we are throwing into the waters. So I see this as an opportunity to both bring healing, but also allow grieving to come through. That's coming to me right now, but to allow this opportunity also for collective grieving for the waters on our planet, and allow that then to create greater space for the light to start shining more strongly as well.
Wow, that really brings forward something for me that, I started to say before we started recording about I've been having these very intense conversations lately. And what I'm experiencing in my personal field and in the field of many of the women I work with is a deep emergence or a rising up from deep beneath the surface of our subconscious, the grief of all the nonsense, the suffering, the challenges, the pollution. And so I feel like that's a signature for us, a sign that it's like that old saying, you got to feel it to heal it, right? This communion with the water that I've been called to for a couple of years now is really allowing a healing at a new level for me. And with that healing, through the grieving, through the release work, through the expression of it, I find myself coming into a greater strength that's more fluid and flexible, if that makes sense. Kind of like the image of the way water slowly over time can carve mountains, carve, channels in mountains. That energetic feels like a very potent one for us that we can be invited into and welcomed into at this time.
Yeah, that sounds absolutely beautiful. And as you were talking there, I was also thinking about the fact that we are all made up of at least 70% water, and we are intricately connected to the element of water in so many ways. And as we also know, we can also imprint energy and vibration onto water. So water takes on the qualities that we pass on to it. So chanting, singing, saying mantras out loud, even just uttering words like love to the water, to the Nile, which is a river and flows for long, long distances, will be incredibly powerful in terms of then, expanding that healing energy, that vibration for thousands of miles.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. And this is what I've been doing here at the sea and with the Mekong River for a couple of years now. And sometimes it's as simple as thank you, I love you, thank you, I love you, thank you, I love you, or clear the water, clean the water, clear the water now. So it will be, and this is the thing I know we both do when we're in sacred space with sisters for an extended period of time is we co-create, we create the container to co-create some very powerful stuff. So this feels really yummy to me, very potent. And so let's just touch quickly on our three private, I don't know if what the proper term is, viewings, private visits. Is that what it is? Yeah.
Yeah,
Tell us a
yeah.
little about those.
Yes. So we have an opportunity to visit the King's Chamber in the Great Pyramid by ourselves. And this this is pretty huge. I mean, just to go there, even surrounded by tourists and people all around you, is still a very special experience. But to have this whole chamber to ourselves will be very, very powerful, and we'll be able to do sacred chanting around the sarcophagus that is inside this chamber and really tune into the energetics that are so very alive in this space. And there are many, many theories about the Great Pyramid. There's many theories about the Great Chamber as well, but the one that is really sitting with me is the one that where the chamber itself would have been used as a ceremonial space for all kinds of resurrection rituals and practices, whereby pharaohs, kings and queens to be would go on these great, great journeys, leave their bodies and travel into other realms and meet with guides and meet with challenges and initiations and be, in a way, reborn through that process. And to be able to be in that space, we probably will not be able to go inside the sarcophagus ourselves. That probably will not be allowed, but just to be around it and tune into these energies and do whatever we are called to do in that moment in terms of calling in certain energies or guides, in terms of chanting, singing, even just holding hands in that space is incredibly powerful. So that will be a very special thing. And Don and I, we will still talk about the specifics in terms of like what kind of ceremony we're wanting to bring through in there and allowing the downloads to come through as well before we enter that space. But it is the potential in that chamber is very, very massive. So I'm
Yeah.
very much looking forward to that.
Yeah, and one of the things that comes up for me to address right now is the fact that we will be a maximum of 12 women. So this is not one of those 40, 50 people retreat where no, this is a potent opportunity, intimate opportunity to be in where each of us has enough space to receive, to share, to feel, to transmute, to activate within ourselves in an intimate, safe, sacred space.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you for emphasizing that. Yeah. And then the other private visit that we have is to the Sphinx, the pose of the Sphinx. Usually, people are not allowed to get anywhere close to the Sphinx. There's fences around it, and you are literally going to be about 50 meters away from the Sphinx at all times. So we now have an opportunity to actually get to the pose of the Sphinx and spend time connecting with her energy, with
Mhm.
the history that is a mystery to us still. We absolutely do not have all the details. This goes for everything in Egypt. We don't have all the details. We
Yeah.
don't know the history in detail, but we can tune into the energy. we can start to receive downloads, and we can, in our own ways, connect with the immensity of the Sphinx and all that she has represented and all that she continues to represent. And do, like a joint journey or something at the pose of the Sphinx and see where our collective energies will take us.
Yes, very exciting. And to say nothing of the possibility of connecting in with other incarnations where we are slash were in another time space of the height of Egypt's powers. I've heard many stories of women and men who have complete memory downloads there or activations. So maybe it's just an impression of some other incarnation, but the activation brings on some of their multidimensional skills and abilities that it was like they were called there to pick up those codes in order to reintegrate them into their current incarnation.
Yeah, this re-remembering of what is already inside of ourselves. And as you say, activating that. Absolutely. Anything is possible in Egypt. Absolutely anything. So,
Wow. Oh, it's so
yeah,
exciting. And we have another private, what's
yes.
our other private visit?
This is a very, very special one to me, and I have not had a private visit there myself before. So this will be my first time as well, although I've been at the grounds of this very, very powerful place. So this is the Osirian, which is at Abydos by the Temple of Seti. And this is the place where this whole temple here is really dedicated to the idea of resurrection again, and the story or the myth or the real life experience of Isis and Osiris in relation to Osiris being dismembered and then Isis going to find those pieces of Osiris and putting him back together, so to speak, so that together they would conceive their child Horus.
Wow.
And these temple grounds are very, very special as well. The Temple of Seti itself is a magical, magnificent place. And the Osirian itself also has on one of its walls the flower of life, which
Right.
goes to show how connected all these ancient civilizations have been all along and how intertwined the knowing, the sacred knowledge has been for thousands and thousands and thousands of years, much, much longer than that even. And we will get a chance to spend private time at this place and really tuning into the energies. This was also an initiation chamber. So some very hardcore initiations, some involving, for example, swimming through a pond with crocodiles in it. This is the place.
Ah,
And we're going to be
that's where that is. I've known about that. Yes, yes.
at where it is.
But we
Yeah.
don't have to
So
swim with crocodiles.
there's no crocodiles there at the moment unless we bring them through in our journeys.
Right.
They might well come through, but
Mm.
no real crocodiles that we'd have to contend with at this place.
And I know you have some personal stories from having led a retreat there and been there before. Any stories you want to share about your experience, particularly for those of us who haven't yet been and are very eager to feel that energy for ourselves?
Yeah, absolutely. Let me pick just a couple of them for now.
Okay.
The first one that I'd love to share is from a retreat where I was actually a participant, not leading it myself, but participating. And we were inside the Great Pyramid. And at that time, we had access to a very small chamber that I believe is no longer accessible, but who knows? It might be when we go there. That you had to climb a small ladder to access. And once you got there, it was this beautiful little chamber that had the walls were like rock. So not like the chiseled stones of the pyramid, but like natural rock almost.
Ah,
And there was water trickling down those rocks. So there was actually live water going down along the
wow.
walls of the pyramid. And as we know, I mean, underneath the pyramid, there used to be waterways, channels, all kinds of interesting networks. And water was a huge part of the energetics and the vibration of the pyramid as well. And in this little chamber, you could literally see the water trickling down. And as I was standing there, all of a sudden, I just felt this chant or this melody start to rise up from within me. And I don't consider myself a singer. I've been told all my life that I can't sing, and I've shied away from that, although I love to sing. And I used to want to become a singer. But for me to be always told that I cannot sing has been a huge journey for me. But in that little chamber, that melody just came through and I could not stop it. I just started humming and singing this beautiful melody, and it stayed with me for the longest time. So these kinds of experiences can, very easily happen. So you get activated, you receive information, you realize that you have a gift that you might not have been aware of or have been, suppressing in many ways. So
Wow.
that's one beautiful experience. And
Beautiful.
this could happen at any of the sacred sites. It doesn't have to be within the Great Pyramid, it could be anywhere. And another experience, again, to do with sound, because the Egyptians were masters at sound healing, of using sound vibration to bring through alchemical processes and healing and moving objects, potentially like the slab stones of the pyramids, for example. This is at the Kom temple, one of my favorite places in Egypt. Kom used to be a hospital, it used to be a healing center, and people from all around the world would travel there to receive healing. And
Mm,
it was also known as a birthing temple. So on some of the walls, you have beautiful imagery of women sitting on birthing stools and giving birth. So it's a very, very special space. And within this temple, and I would imagine this is very common across all of the temples, on one of the walls, you have these holes that seem to lead into the structures of the temple, into the walls of the temple, but you don't really know because you can't see through them.
mm, mhm.
But at this time at Komombo, I decided to do like a little experiment. I went right by the hole and I started oming into the hole. And literally within a couple of minutes, our local tour guide, Mahmoud, who's going to be our tour guide for the November tour as well, comes running from the other side of the temple, completely from the other side. Like, Emmy, what did you do? It's like, I was oming. My theory has been proven. The sound carries from one end of the temple to the other. And there's no way he could have heard me like just by listening
Uh-huh.
to me oming at this end of the temple. It was because it was going through these holes, these little tunnel ways within the walls of the temple. And it carried all the way to the other side.
Wow. Wow. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, this is I'm getting very excited now. And I guess the only other thing I would like to ask you to share a little bit is, kind of what have you seen as possible? What is possible and mm, who is it that would be the how does someone know they're watching this video? I'm trying to formulate this question. My apologies. They're watching us talk. We're having this conversation. They're getting a little tickled. Most people get tickled about Egypt. How do they know that this is for them? What is what's possible here? How do we know when, wow, it's not just that, yeah, oh, Egypt would be cool, but like this feels aligned for me. This feels like a yes.
Yeah. So I think the most important thing is that this is about service. So we are bringing together a group of women who are dedicated to bringing through healing on our planet, to Mother Earth, to the collective, and even beyond our planet. So who are aware of the opportunity and the responsibility that we are all faced with right now in these times of change in terms of birthing and bringing through the new earth. So the healing work that we're going to be doing on this retreat, the service, the offerings are very much a part of all of us stepping into that next level of leadership, stepping into that next level of our own internal service, whatever that looks like to all of us as individuals. But this was really the vision behind this retreat, to come together as a group of powerful, powerful women who are already doing healing work, who are already priestesses or doing similar kind of work, and who understand really deeply the power of collective ceremony, the power of collective healing processes, and who are ready to receive codes or activations or downloads, whatever it might be for each one of us as individuals, that really allow us to ascend almost to our next level of evolution. That is the caliber of a retreat that I am envisioning for us here, Dawn. And I know
Oh,
we've talked about this. So yeah.
yes. Thank you so much for sharing that. That feels so, I know this is why we're collaborating on this, because that is where we're both called right now, to call in who are the powerful healer, priestess, teacher leaders who are ready to step into their next level iteration for the planet, for our families, for our loved ones, for ourselves, for our own greater awakening, more grace and ease in what we do, and leveraging the power of the ancients and the codes of Egypt in order to do that. I mean, this is one of the place where the pyramids are on the planet. If people don't know already, I'm sure you do, Emmy, but if you were to put all the landmass together of Earth, clump it all together, the very center would be exactly where the Giza plateau is. So,
Mm.
so we are really coming into an energetic field with Gaia to potently activate ourselves and serve the planet, serve all of life. To that end, I want to invite everyone to stay tuned to our next video, which will come out in a few weeks, probably, where Emmy will interview me about Stargate work, grid work, and some of the just peeks at some of the ceremonial aspects of what we'll be doing. But for now, I just want to turn it over to you again one more time. Emmy, is there anything else you would like to share before we complete for this recording?
It's just such an honor to collaborate with you on this, Dawn, and I cannot wait to meet all the sisters who are truly called to join us on this journey and really create some potent magic together.
Yes, yes, indeed. It is my honor as well. So thank you so much for joining me today. This conversation will continue in another video at another time. So for now, for any of you who are feeling interested or called, be sure to check the link in the description box below. You'll be able to get through to a page with all the information, day by day, what we'll be doing, pricing, what's included, beautiful imagery, and then we would love to have a conversation with you. Please note that this, given, and I feel so resonant with exactly how Emmy described it, given who we are called to gather here, this retreat and pilgrimage is by application and either invitation or, interview. Why? Because of the nature of what we're doing, because it's only 12 people. Again, this is not, and nothing wrong with a 40-person historic, looking at the ancient sites retreat. Nothing wrong with that. Those are amazing. This is not that. This is medicine work for the planet. And of course, in the process, when we do that, we get the medicine ourselves. So we would love to receive your application and connect with you. So have a look, go ahead and click on the link below. Even if you can't fully look at it right now, click on it so it opens in a tab, and then it'll be there for you to explore more deeply and feel the resonance if this is for you. Okay, Emmy, thank you so very much for this, and we'll be speaking again soon.
Thank you so much.
Mhm.